Yesterday, the Shir discussed Ano Emlich, right? B'chlal, why does the Eibush need a Helam? If the emes is that everything is godliness, right? So Eibush creates the world using the Keich of Gedula, which creates Yesh Me'ayin, Pei Beis and Aleph. So why does he create a Helam? Why have to have Heinin Gureisa? Why have to have a Lakim, which creates the possibility for something called Yichud Tata? What's wrong with a world which is a Lakus? And the answer is, I want to be a king, and the Rebbe says that to be a king you have to have subjects, and subjects is the Ein Melech B'lei Am Loshen Imei. I told you, but it doesn't say inside. And inside it says Am Loshen Oimamois, withering, dying. In other words, they're human like Hashem, so they can make free will to select them and make him into a Melech. But they're much further away from the king. They're not like children, they're like officers. They're simple people. And Ein Melech B'lei Am. Zog the Rebbe V'hinei, 3 lines on the top of the page. Geder B'chinas Shem Eilam, the category and the criteria of the word oilam, neifal b'chinas makom b'chinas man dafke, can only be stated in a circumstance where you have space and when you have time. B'chinas makom, who the translation of space is mizrach, manav, tzaf, and dan, ma'alamata, east, west, north, south, up, down. And b'chinas man, the notion of time is ovar, heva, v'yosef, past, present, and future. And I'm going to explain b'kitzit. The concept of space means here and there, but the concept of space means here and there to you and to me. You're sitting in that chair, he cannot sit in it. The physical term, the biological term, you're phobic. Your goof pushes away his goof. His goof pushes away your goof. Physical things exist in space. Each one occupies the space, and it doesn't let something else occupy the same space. That's called makom. If you'd be batal telekus, you could be physical and I could touch you, and you and him could be in the same space. Why not? Because your metzias is not mugbal, it's not restrained, it's not limited by makom. The limitation of makom is that each thing has its own space. Time means change, shinuyim, things are always changing. A world is a place where there's the limitation of space. Each being occupies a space, and when he's here, he's not someplace else, and when he's here, something else can't be there. And it's constantly changing. And it's true, when your brain is occupied with one thought, you can't have a different thought. And the brain is always changing. Those are the categories of makom and zman. And the Eibush wants world because he wants to be a king. All of these categories of time and space, which are the basic building blocks of a world, has no basis whatsoever in the holy, supernal spheres. The spheres, as you guys know, are lights of the Eibush. That's all they are. They're lights of Hashem. Correct? That Hashem employs in creation, Gedula and Gevura, and He uses a combination of Sfiras HaGedula and Sfiras HaGevura to create the world, and there's all kinds of Achtos. There's the Achtos of Sfiras with the Eibishter, there's Achtos of Sfiras with one another, and there's Achtos of the world with the Sfiras because the Sfiras have Achtos. Says the Rebbe, in Chesed and Gevura there's no Makam and there's no Zman. So Chesed and Gevura, even though they were described earlier as Havaya and Elikim, that they're creating the world, they don't yet have real space and real time and real space, even the combination, and therefore it's not really a world. Only the Sfiras HaMalchus Levada. And Malchus is called Adnai. So the Rebbe is now adding, if Havaya and Elikim can create a world without Mokum and without Zman, it's not really a world. You need Adnai, which is the Sfiras HaMalchus that creates the limitations of the world, the Inyan from Zman and Mokum. It's possible to say only in Malchus can you begin to say a concept of space, that he's a king above without an end and below beyond purpose. Sit to all 4 directions. You can speak about his kingship being here and there. The same is true in time. Hashem was, is, and will be a melech, as we say in the mornings. And it says in Chassidus, at the beginning of Zman is Malchus. The raya is because Havaya Melech, Havaya Melech. It doesn't say Havaya His Chased, Havaya Mis Chased, Havaya Yis Chased. No, because Chased by the Eibush, the Sfiras and Chased, and Atzil says Lamaylam and Azman. Malchus is the beginning of Zman. To say it more precisely, really, Zman begins in B'riyah. In Atzil says B'chal no Zman. But Sfiras HaMalchus is the first place which is outside of Elokus, outside of Ein Sof, and therefore there's at least the koyach for Zman and Makom.
Well, once we're in this world, he can be kind and he could have been kind.
Oh yes, but that's not the Gili of Atzilus, it's the Helam of Atzilus. What is the Helam of Atzilus which allows that where you get the kindness that exists in Zman and Mokum Malchus? The Nimsa, so it turns out, Chayes HaMokum, the vitality of the limiting factor of space. V'chein Chayes HaZman, the vitality of the limiting factor of time. V'savusa Mayayin the Yesh V'kiyuma. And their creation from a non-existential state into an existential state. And they should persist, they should continue being. Kol Zman Kiyumim, so long as they are, Who Mimidas Malchus Yizbarach, as the attribute of the sphere of Malchus, V'shem Adnas Baruch Hu. And the name of the Eibishter that connects to Malchus is Adnai. So I want you to remember what I told you yesterday. Until Perek Zayin, we talked about creation. And we said, first of all, Hashem creates the world every single second. That's Havaya, Gedula. Hashem, in a godly way, hides himself. That's Elikim. Comes the Rebbe now and says, listen, even though I told you that Havaya creates every single second, Elikim conceals Havaya, so the world should be real, Havaya and Elikim by themselves can't yet create a world. Because beside Havaya and Elikim, there's no Zman and there's no Makam. So exactly what would Havaya and Elikim create, I don't know. You have to have Adnai, which is Malchus, because this is the source of Makam and Zman. And when you add to Havaya and Elikim Adnai, now you have a world where the Eibush is concealed, and there's a possibility of Melech, Ein Melech B'layam. So what Gevura does, and what Malchus does, what Elikim does, and what Adnai does, I don't know. We know what Adnai does, but how Elikim is a Tzimtzum, if there's no Makam, there's Man, I don't understand. Well, since the sphere of Malchus is also one with Eibush Atzmus, just like Chesed and Gevura are. He doesn't say K'meisha Nizbai. He explained it in Perek Vav, but he's going to explain it L'cheira B'ariches in Perek Yud and in Perek whatever Chesed Tes. Therefore, Gam B'chilas HaMakav HaZman, also time and space, but Telem B'mitzias Mamash and nullified in their form altogether. L'gabim Husev Atzmusi is Barach compared to the essence of the Eibishter. Just like we said about Havaya and Elikim, that since Ihu B'chayechad. So we say, first of all, Havaya is one with Elikus, right? It's only a light of the Eibishter, it's not a tool. Elikim is one with the Eibishter. And then we say, because Havaya is one with the Eibishter, and Elikim is one with the Eibishter, Havaya and Elikim are one with one another. Havaya hu Elikim. So we're also one with Elikus. So now we're going to say, Adnai is also a Sfira. Even though Malchus is L'cheira not Ein Sof, Ein Sof ends in Zoh. Malchus outside of Ein Sof. So the Rebbe do, but Malchus is also, Adnai is also, and as a result, it's one with the Eibishter, and therefore it's one with the other Sfiras, and therefore the world which is created through the combination of Havaya, Elikim, and Adnai, Gedula, Gvura, and Malchus, continues to be, now that it exists, B'Telem B'Mitzias, nullified in its form, Mamish, L'gabim, Husav, Atzmusi, is Barach, in comparison to the Eibishter himself, Kibit Leir Hashemesh B'Shem, it is the nullification of the light of the sun as it exists within the sun. I don't understand this fully. But the point is, what is Achdus saying? Right? I told this to you in the shir I gave you a while back. In philosophy, Hashem creates the world with tools, like malachim. Each tool is separate from every other tool. Each tool is separate from the Eibishter. So the world that's created by the combination of these tools is also separate. Here we're saying that Hashem creates the world using spheres. Since the sphere is one with the Eibishter, and the sphere is one with one another, the world created from the spheres. Even though Gevura is hiding Gedula, it's not a real hiding. It's Hein Gvura Esav, and therefore Ilan Nittin Shus L'Ayin Lirs of Hashem would let us see. We would see that everything's Elikus. She says, I want you to know there's a third very critical building block. There's Havaya, there's Elikim, and there's Adnai. There's Gedula, there's Gevura, and there's Malchus. Adnai adds not just the concealment of Havaya, but the creation of Makam and Zman. Just like we said, and therefore we say that the world is really one with Elikus, we're now going to say about Malchus. Even though Malchus creates time and space, but since Malchus is Elikus and one with the Eibishter, it's therefore also one with Chesed and Gevura, which create the world and create the Helam of the world. The reality of the world therefore appears to be in Makam and in Zman. It appears to be hidden from the Eibishter, but in truth it's one with the Eibishter, like Bittel Hashem B'Shemesh, because of the Sfiras. The Sfiras is one with the Eibishter, so the world that's a product of these Sfiras is also one with the Eibishter. Zog der Rebbe weiter, v'zehu shiluv shem adnus b'shem Havaya. The idea that the worlds are really bottled to the Eibishter. Because since Hashem is creating the world with Sfiras, Gedula, Gevura, and Adnai, Gedula, Gevura, and Malchus, or Havaya, Elikim, and Adnai, they're all one with Ein Sof, and therefore they're one with one another. So the world which is a product of this unity is also one with the Eibishter. Is Shiluv, is a bringing together of Adnai, which conceals and creates Makam and Zman, with Havaya. Kishem Havaya, the divine name Havaya, which in Perek Daled, Alter Rebbe translated Havaya, in Perek Daled, Alter Rebbe translated Havaya, it's a creator, proactive creator, Hoive. And the Yud made Alat Midias Vanitzchius, so made it, here the Alter Rebbe says a different word. That Havaya is it's higher than time, in one instant. And the Rebbe has a footnote where he says that the idea of Havaya Lamala Me'azman is different than Havaya Loshen Mahava. Havaya Loshen Mahava is lower than Havaya Haiva V'Yekechet. Nevertheless, it's true that even Havaya Loshen Mahava is higher than time. But I mehem the Pashas Pinchas. V'chein Lamala Me'chinas Makam. Havaya is also above time. Ki Havaya Mahava Tomid is Kol B'chinas HaMakam Kulei. Havaya creates all of space. Melmaila Ad Lamatav Man High till below. Well, that's it into all four sides in one instant. So therefore, Elikim is blocking Havaya. Adnai is blocking Havaya more, right? What's creating? Havaya creates Yesh Me'ayin. Havaya proactively creates the world. Havaya creates the world Yesh Me'ayin. If we would see Havai creating the world b'chol lega v'lega, we'd become ois. We become the Dvar Havai. So the Eibush takes Shem Elokim, conceals the Shem Havaya, so we seem separate from the Eibush. But since Havaya and Elokim are one, the concealment is a lie. It's not true. We're not truly concealed from the Koyach Eloki. We just don't see it. Now he adds Adnai, which adds to the concealment another dimension, the dimension of Makam and Zman. So what does Gevura give and what does Adnai give, what does Malchus give? I don't know. But there's two aspects to the Helam. There's the Helam of Gevura and the Helam of Malchus that creates a natural world of Makam and Zman. The Makam and Zman is also not real because Malchus is also a Sfira. Malchus is also one with Ihu, with Elikus, and therefore it's one with the other Sfiras, and therefore the Helam and the facilitation of Zman and Makam that Malchus provides is also not real. And Ilu Nitner Shusla, same thing we said in the beginning of Peri Gimel, Peri Beis. Ilu Nitner Shusla, ayin leaders, if the Eibush would open up our eyes, we would see that the Makam and the Zman are not Makam and Zman, and we see that the Helam is not Helam, and the Eibush is creating us b'chol rega v'rega. So what are we really Dvar Havaya? Even after Malchus, because Malchus also was a Sfira. Malchus, even though Malchus is not in Sof,
it makes it less of a lie.
It makes it more Achtus. Makes it more Achtus. There's a unity between the Eibush and the creation. By explaining that the Eibush is not creating the world with tools like Malachim, but tools like Sfiras.
That's fine. I'm saying, what does it help to have Malchus in addition to Elokim?
Zman and Makam. And I don't know exactly what Elokim does.
His proof is Hashem Melech, Hashem Malach, Hashem Yimlech,
right.
And his proof that a Havaya is beyond time is that it's Hoya Hoya V'yiyah.
No.
So when you think, maybe Hashem Melech, Hashem Malach, Hashem Yimlech shows that Malchus is L'mayla L'makam.
But there's no other pasuk in Tanakh. There's no Hashem Chassid, Hashem His Chassid, and Hashem Yis Chassid.
The fact that, so maybe that shows that, I don't know.
So Havaya by itself is Hoya Hoya V'yiyah. The way Chassidus explains it is that in Malchus you don't have Zman, because it's Taka Havaya. But you have the Sharius of Zman, because you don't say Hashem Melech, you say you should. If Havaya in Malchus has no Zman at all, it wouldn't say Melech, Malach, Yimlech, it would say Hashem Melech, that's it. The fact that you say all three is that the way Havaya comes into Malchus, there's the beginning of the Koyach for Zman, as state. Now tomorrow we begin already Tzimtzum Shlekep Pshutei, which is a whole new Achtus. God, Aman Derzach, and we'll learn the Rambam.